News that we've all been waiting for, or I know that I have certainly, is that there's speculation the Mavs will let go of Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd in the offseason. This is crazy considering what has happened, the Luka Dončić trade, and everything else that has transpired since those events, injuries and all. We're going to break down everything you need to know in this episode of Joe Mercer Sports Podcast, and as always, I'm your host, Joey Mercer. So without further ado, let's get right into the topic at hand, being it's time to move on from Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd. Absolutely crazy. This article right here is by Kirk Henderson of Mavs Moneyball. Just came across this one and had to bring this video to you immediately. Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison and head coach Jason Kidd should be dismissed from their positions as soon as possible. The two are the chief decision makers within the team structure, and neither should remain in their positions following the end of the regular season. The decision to trade Luka Dončić has gutted the franchise both practically and spiritually. There can be no healing for Dallas fans and no ability to right the organizational ship with these two at the helm. And absolutely accurate there. I agree with that point that he just made. And without them off the team at this point in time, I think they're headed for disaster as opposed to a championship, which is what they ultimately wanted. During the weeks following the seismic trade of Luka Dončić to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, mismanagement, incompetence, and disdain reared their heads repeatedly. Trust in the power structure deteriorated with nearly every passing day. Yes, bad luck has played a part in the collapse of the Mavericks, Kyrie Irving's injury being the main culprit, of course. Harrison also traded for not one but two injured players at the deadline in Davis and Caleb Martin. So yeah, not a lot talked about the Caleb Martin trade, but they did move on for Quentin Grimes, who's looked like an absolute stud since joining the Philadelphia 76ers, who have also dealt with their fair share of injury issues. The future is grim as well. The Mavericks will play most of next season without Kyrie Irving as he recovers from his ACL tear. Anthony Davis will lead this limited but salary-strapped team into the 2025-26 season unless drastic changes are made in the offseason. Dallas projects to be over the salary cap but just under the first apron depending on Irving's contractual choices. And that doesn't address the frightening Mavericks draft pick situation. But there's more to it than that. There's an existential crisis around the team, and it's self-imposed. Sponsors are fleeing the team, season ticket holders aren't returning, and customers are demanding their money back for the fledgling Mavs TV package. The revenue situation for the team took a massive hit, and future outlays are not good. Up to 9 figures in future earnings lost. Wow. I mean, from a financial standpoint, even not just a basketball standpoint, this has been an absolutely horrific decision ever since Luka Dončić has been traded. We can see here earlier in Harrison's tenure, he made numerous moves using future draft capital to build a contender around Dončić, which at the time, I have to say, made a lot of sense. I mean, they made it all the way to the finals last year. They had some hope against Boston, although Boston was a much better team, as they did win the NBA championship, but it seemed to be working. It seemed like they were on the right track. They seemed to be a piece or two away from making it back to the finals and winning the NBA Finals. But instead, they move on from Luka Dončić to get an injured Anthony Davis and Max Christie, then move on from Quentin Grimes to get Caleb Martin. That trade right there, Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin, is a trade you only make if you're going to make the NBA Finals or are a true contender, and they most certainly are not. Why would they even make that trade? It's very interesting to say the least. I don't agree with the moves, but let's look at some of the picks that he acquired and trades he made. So the 2027 first-round pick is owned by the Hornets with 2 top protection status. That was to acquire P.J. Washington, of course. The 2028 first-round pick is controlled by the Oklahoma City Thunder in the form of a pick swap as well. That had to do, I believe, with the Derek Lively II move. And they also moved Cason Wallace in that deal. The 2029 first-round pick is owned by the Brooklyn Nets. Spencer Dinwiddie, big trades happening along there for sure. The 2030 first-round pick is controlled by the San Antonio Spurs in the form of a swap. And then we also have Dallas has no second-round picks of their own in 2025, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, or 31. So no second-round picks now until 2032. They're also basically, they could be without a pick in 2027, all the way until 2030. Not great. Not the news that you want to hear if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan. You heard the chants at the game the other night, fire Nico, and a lot of people are on board with that, to say the least. They finish off this article by saying the cupboard is bare. Harrison could look to move this year's 2025 pick and even the 2031 pick to save face following this disastrous season. It would have to be crazy. They'd have to hope that Kyrie stays healthy, Davis stays healthy, everybody stays healthy for that to even make sense alone. This is from a Mavs fan's point of view, and this is my non-biased point of view right here, unbiased completely. I do not think that's a good decision moving on from those picks. They have to try to gain back draft capital as best they can. Maybe just take the bullet right now and try to get back some of the picks that you've already given up. Try to give up on some of the larger names if you can. It's time for a rebuild in Dallas. It is not time to win anymore. They've absolutely sunken that ship by trading away Luka Dončić, and right now they need to go in a different direction. You can't just win right away after moving on from a franchise cornerstone in Luka. Well, this is all I've got to say on this topic, but let me know what you've got to think about it down below in the comment section. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications, and I'll see you all in the next video.